16 United States lawmakers have written to President Joe Biden asking him to bring back Tigran Gamayan, the Binance executive who has been detained in Nigeria for almost 3 months over money laundering charges. Gambayan and his colleague Nadem were arrested and detained on February 26 following an investigation into Binance's activities in Nigeria. Subsequently, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nigeria's anti-corruption agency, charged Gambayan, his company Binance Holdings Limited, and Anjawala, a fellow top executive currently on the run before a federal high court in Abuja, sitting with money laundering and terrorism financing. He was arraigned on 5 counts bordering on alleged tax evasions, currency speculations, and money laundering to the tune of 34,400,000 US dollars. Following the escape of his colleague Anjawala, the trial judge Justice Emeka Nwite refused to grant his bail applications. Delivering the ruling on the bail application, Justice Nwite held that after carefully going through the applications submitted before him, resolved that the defendant would jump bail if granted. Was also reported by Sarah reporters on May 1st, 2024, that Yuki, Gambayaran's wife, had raised the alarm over his husband's continued incarcerations in Kuje prison. She claimed her husband was put together with Boko Haram terrorists and bandits. Yuki told the United States Parliament that her husband had spent 65 days in custody in Nigeria. Meanwhile, Michael MC Cole, Texas, the House Foreign Affairs Committee chairman, along with 15 other leaders, in a letter sent to President Biden, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and Presidential Envoy for Hostage Affairs Roger Dickerson, demanded an immediate action regarding the United States citizen. In June 2024, through a letter, in the letter they argued and urged the president to treat Gambayan's case as a hostage situation and bring him back to the United States. We fear for his life. Immediate actions is essential to ensure his safety and preserve his life. We must act swiftly before it is too late, they said. In the letter, which Eleanor Terrett shared on her X handle, formerly known as Twitter handle, at Eleanor Terrett, the lawmakers claimed that Gambayan has contracted malaria and is being refused adequate treatment by Nigerian prison officials. They opined that he has been unlawfully detained for 3 months in Nigeria. The letter partly read, "As you know, Tigran Gambayan, a United States citizen and a former federal agent, is being wrongly detained by the Nigerian government. Mr. Gambayan's background is impressive and distinguished. He served at the Internal Revenue Service (IRS) for over 10 years before joining the world's largest crypto exchange, Binance, where he is the head of financial crime compliance. During his tenure as an IRS agent, he successfully led some of the most prolific cyber investigations in the United States history, seizing 4.725 billion US dollars in illicit funds for the United States government. Mr. Gambayan's legacy of dedication to justice and the law continued even after he left federal service. On May 3rd of this year, while Tigran fought for his life inside the prison cell designed to hold ISIS combatants, the United States Department of Justice issued a press release announcing a historic seizure, thanking former Special Agent Tigran for his groundbreaking work in the investigation. As of February 26, Mr. Gambayan traveled to Nigeria at invitation of the Nigerian government for a high-level meetings regarding Binance's compliance issues within the country. Now, after two rounds of meetings, which were described as starting professional and then becoming increasingly hostile, the government of Nigeria took Mr. Gambayan hostage. Armed guards escorted him to his hotel room where he was forced to surrender his passport. After packing his belongings, he was taken to a Nigerian government-owned house referred to as the guest house for 5 days. Mr. Gambayan was held hostage without the ability to inform his family, attorneys, or the United States Department of his situation. On March 12, a court order that had been obtained by the Nigerian authorities to hold him for 14 days expired. On May 20, the Chief Court, one of the Magistrate Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nigeria, stated that the remand order has not been extended. Still, it adjourned the matter of April 5th for a ruling. From March 12 to April 5th, there was no Nigerian legal basis for the continued detention of Mr. Gambayan. Subsequently, the government of Nigeria charged him with several crimes as an effigy of his employer, and he was transferred to the notorious Kuje prison, known for its harsh conditions. The government has admitted openly in court that Tigran is being tried in lieu of pursuing legal actions against his employer. On April 24, the Nigerian government pleaded with the judge to deny bail, stating the first defendant, Binance, is operating visually, that the only thing we have to hold on to is the defendant Tigran. So we pray, my lord, to refuse bail to the defendant. Mr. Gambayan's detainment has been marked by excessive and harsh treatment. Further, he is not permitted to meet with his legal team without the presence of government official and armed guards. It is crucial to emphasize that the charges against Mr. Gambayan are baseless and constitute a coercion tactic by the Nigerian government to extort his employer Binance. Following these charges, Mr. Gambayan qualifies as a United States citizen wrongly detained by a foreign government, as defined in the Robert Livingston Hostage Recovery and Hostage Taking Accountability Act. The recent developments in Mr. Gambayan's case are deeply disturbing. He had a court hearing scheduled for May 22, and as the court came to order, he was absent. The court, prosecutors, and defense team were unaware of his whereabouts or condition. When the court contacted prison authorities to determine Mr. Gambayan's whereabouts, they received no response and the hearing was postponed. The next day, on May 23rd, the court reconvened and he was present. He was in the back of the room, slumped over in his chair. When the judge called for Mr. Gambayan to step forward, he could not stand on his own and ultimately collapsed to the floor. It has since been reported that he tested positive for malaria, and when he requested hospital treatment, the prison officials declined his request. It was not until Mr. Gambayan collapsed in court that the judge was compelled to order that he be sent to a private hospital for proper treatment. However, as of June 4th, the prison has not fully complied with the court order and has not ensured Mr. Gambayan has received proper health care.